All right, mofateers, thanks for joining me today. It's first episode of Mondays at Moffs Reboot, and it's actually the first episode of Mondays at Moffs that I shot on another platform that will remain nameless because I don't know anything about the legalities of streaming one to the other, but I do know that one doesn't make it very easy. Nonetheless, I think I've figured out a way, and we're going to make it happen. So yeah, no guest today. I'm not going to ramble too long because, as you'll see, I already do my typical kind of ramble and raving at the start of this other episode. So this one, I'm kind of really passenger just with you guys, and here, if anybody wants to throw some comments in the chat or that sort of thing. Although, hang about, everybody, bear with me. This won't do. This is a professional production here. It's a serious place of business. We need to have the Mondays at Moffs theme. Look at that. La-di-da. Okay. And now we can get back to it. Mondays at Moffs Reboot. With Esther. She's a bloody champion.
G'day, people. Here I am. Oh, sorry, a couple of minutes late. Just for the last minute, rush around. A couple of things. Got my son here trying to get me to help solve something. Look, hey, actually, seems how this is Moffat Beach focused, but also obviously open to everybody. No, I won't give my exact address, but all I'll say is that there's like some mystery dog or maybe very large cat, cougar, something is like sneaking into our yard and doing a shit on the yard. Either that or I've rubbed someone really badly the wrong way and they're actually throwing shit over over the fence. And if that's you, then just like, let's be adults about it, like maybe have a chat. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody. Oh man, the joys of life. All right, like so today, super excited.
I'm going to pause there. This is the beauty of hindsight or second chances. Sorry, not sorry. If you're throwing shit in my yard, that's not good. What was I talking about?
Thank you, Esther. I'll be pulling you online, so you just sit there and relax for a minute. So Esther, if you guys read the write-up, and if you're local, you probably already know who she is. She's just a really, really wonderful, lovely, driven lady. When I moved to Moffat Beach a couple of years ago, the Pocket was kind of like a little small coffee shop, kind of tucked in a little area. I guess the Pocket will maybe dig into the naming, but I'm assuming that it kind of felt like, that it was a Pocket. So that wasn't you. And then they expanded because they were just so popular and so busy. So they ended up building down the road, as we'll sort of dig into. And they built this amazing cafe that still has that element. There's little kind of nooks and areas that you can sit. So, yeah, look, I'm super pumped about this series, Mondays at Moffs. It was something I was going to do before COVID as, like, I guess, a bit more of a production, where I was pitching it to businesses around town and looking to get sponsors and was going to do a bunch of filming on premises, and we were kind of able to show that footage as well. And then COVID happened. And so now I thought, I still want to do something that's focused on the local community, even though I've only been here for a little while. And I want to do my part, I suppose, to try and help local businesses to survive and thrive. And I believe that by supporting each other, sharing the stories, it's really powerful. I mean, you think, and this model could fly anywhere, right? But you think if you've got 30, 40 businesses that are all part of the same kind of ongoing series, if they not only stream it and share it to their network when they are the guest, but if they also share it to their network when it's other people, then you get, I call it the Moffat multiplier on my little pamphlet-y sort of sales propaganda that I pushed out. So let's jump into it with no further ado, because you've come here to see Esther, not me. So here we go. Fingers crossed, Instagram doesn't play up on us today. Oh, up for the surf this morning or stand-up paddle. Here she is. Yes.
It works. The system
It works. How you going?
Good, but you're going to just have to, like, bear with me because I'll probably get an arm cramp from holding my phone and not being prepared. But anyway, we'll make it work.
Yeah. I really feel bad, actually. Well, this is a little note for any future guests that, we're doing it via the video through Instagram Live. It's through the Instagram app itself. I only learned how to do it not long ago. I'm sure there's heaps of other things you can do in Instagram that I don't know about. But yeah, it's a bit funny this morning because I was rushing around just trying to get ready, and then I get a text from Esther saying, "Hey, okay, I'm downstairs, and I can get a table for us out the back if you like with the heater." And I was like, "Oh dear, I better let her know." No, you just type there, and we'll roll with it.
Face to face is a thing of the past. This is the new version of face to face.
Yeah, I mean, I do love face to face. I'm all about it, really. Like, I think that I still will do quite a bit of it post-COVID. I know a lot of people are going, "Oh, I'm just going to do everything via Zoom or video now," and it's the next best thing. But it's not. It's just there's nothing the same as seeing someone in person. Body language, more body.
I agree.
Yeah, and their environment, and you've just got an amazing location down there. So let's dig into your story. Please tell everybody, who you are. What you do, and then we can maybe wind the clock back and sort of hear a bit about, I guess, the genesis and how you came to be the person you are.
Okay.
Why you're so friendly.
All right. Well, I've done no prep for this, Brad. So you're just gonna have to
forgive. Yes, that's good. I like just straight off the cuff, honest and sincere. That's the way I like it.
All right. So, well, like for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Esther, and we've been blessed to kind of be welcomed into the community of Moffat Beach with very warm, loving arms. But we basically we run a cafe, and I think that's on the very low level. For the most part, we don't really see it as a cafe. I think for us, it's kind of like our little social hub, or a community centre, or our own surf club, or lots of other words that probably describe it better than. I guess we have to write it down on as paper. Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much what we do.
I agree. Yeah, it's got a great vibe. And look, I mean, I'm just kind of using my amazing powers of deduction, but I believe that you probably called it the Pocket because the initial location was kind of in a little pocket. Is that right, or was this completely something else?
Yeah, no, totally. It was. When I first started, it was just like a little baby hole in the wall. And that was all we ever intended it to be. We're straight across the road from Moffat Beach, which, if anybody knows, is just paradise on earth. So we're like, why would anyone want to sit here when they could sit at the beach? So it was only ever designed to be an easy takeaway, grab and go. Type thing. But I think once we did start, you could quickly kind of understand that it wasn't just about the service. It was about the way people felt when we were together. Because I guess you would know, because the more you meet people, the more it makes sense and all of that type of thing, that when you are around people that have similar values or similar inspirations or creativity, then it's you have that sense of belonging. And I think that in lots of ways that's why we have found the support and the community here, is that maybe that's what I know, that's what I felt was missing for myself. And I think that that's one of the reasons we've been so warmly welcomed, is that people feel like we are theirs, not in a weird possessive way, but it's not really our cafe. It's the cafe that belongs to the community, all of us together.
Yeah. I love that. And I get so excited nowadays whenever I hear success stories that are really founded on the fact that the people who were involved or are involved just good people, and so there's, I think, more and more, funnily enough, I didn't see it coming really, but I think courtesy of social media and people sharing so much information, I think it kind of has maybe weeded out some of the bad eggs, or it's put them into hiding and trolling, I suppose. But the good people, I think, are maybe a little bit easier to spot. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I love it here. Like, it's funny. My wife and I have been coming up to Caloundra for 20 odd years. So we're in Brisbane. I was in country New South Wales before that. She was in New Zealand, but we've been coming up here for years. And Caloundra was my favourite part of the coast. I just love the way that kind of there's all different curved areas, and you can find somewhere sheltered from the wind no matter what's going on. There's a nice walkways and whatever. But I don't think we ever came to Moffat Beach for whatever reason. And so then when we actually decided we were moving to the Sunshine Coast, we were looking at places all up and down the coast, and just happened to find a place down here. And then I was like, this is like pretty much everything I want, like in one little location. It's got the bommy, it's got a curved beach, because I don't really like a straight beach. Sorry, straight beach people, but it's got like a curved beach. It's got the headland, it's got rock pools, it's got a beautiful park with a big oak tree, and it's just got a great vibe. So I'm just like, and like lots of houses, little original beach shacks, but even some of the new places, I think, have kind of inherited some of the style from the beach shacks. So I dig it, and I think that your place, as you say, like, I think it really, it's and why I spruiked it up so heavily is it's a really iconic location. It's got a great vibe. All the people in there, are definitely kind of fun, funky, friendly people. And I think that your character, I think, is a critical part, though. Like, you are quite a, effervescent, sort of colourful person. So let's find out how that came to be.
Cut it out.
Yeah. So where did you grow up? Like, let's go like right back. Like, what's the story of, like, where you grew up?
So, I grew up in New Zealand as well. It's funny when you were describing like your life, it mimics mine in lots of ways. So I grew up in New Zealand. My mum's a Kiwi. My dad had immigrated from India like many, many years earlier. I've got a big family, 3 sisters, 3 brothers, but I'm the second youngest. So when mum and dad made the decision to move, I was in my last, like, I just turned 17. I was in my last year of school, and I basically had the choice of going to Wellington to art school or coming here. And I was probably like not ready to not be away, like that far from mum and dad. So I came, and they went up to Maryborough to continue like their like rural service that you have to do that when you immigrate for medicine. So they did that, and I came to do art school in Brisbane. So I was in Brisbane for how many years? 4 years, almost 4 years. Yeah. And in that time I met my husband, Scotty, who's from Yamba, and he hated Brisbane, and I was working as a graphic designer, and he's like, well, I got to get out of here. It's driving me crazy. So he went back to McLean. And I lasted like 3 months of being like, babe, we can do it. We can do long distance. It'll be fine. And then I was like, I can't live without you. I'm coming. So I followed him.
It's sweet. It sucks. Long distance sucks.
And I was, we were just babies. I was only 20. So, I was doing a lot of freelance from there, which was hard. So that took us to the Gold Coast, and I did a lot of like design time there, just keeping on doing graphics, all sorts, fashion, accessories, normal stuff.
But you were always like quite colourful at that stage. Sorry to jump in, but have you always been someone who likes to wear bright colours, or you prefer to kind of have your own kind of style? You're not kind of conforming to the norm.
No, I wish. I've been through so many phases, all sorts of phases.
I know, I've witnessed a few in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Probably always a little bit left of centre, definitely.
Yeah, I like that. No, it's good.
Yeah, but it's good. I've just kind of, as you grow up too, you care less about what people actually think of you, and just go with what makes you feel good. So I'm very much there now.
Great, that's awesome.
when it came for us to decided to have a family, I just couldn't imagine raising kids at the Goldie. Not that there was anything wrong with it, just that it didn't feel right for us. I think too big, too far from my mum and dad, who are still
Something is definitely better.
So,
I'll put that out there.
Oh, yeah. So we made a deal because Scotty's an avid surfer. I said that, all right, well, let's go like first Point Break north of Brisbane, where Brisbane was where a lot of our friends were, and like without ever, we spent a lot of time in Caloundra, same as you, but we'd never been to Moffs. So Moffs was that was the first Point Break north of Brisbane, and we literally like found a house, hadn't inspected it yet, and just packed the truck, and here we came. And I remember driving like around the corner to Moffs. I'm just looking out there now. It's so beautiful. But pulling into the car park and just thinking, this is gold. This is it.
Yeah.
That was how we ended up here anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Well, that was my son, who I was pregnant with at the time. He's 10 and a half now. So I guess 11 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And were you still doing graphic design work at that point?
At that point, yes, absolutely. And I continued to do that. It was when we started the Pocket, I never actually intended that I would be a part of it. It was for my brother. So my big brother, he was doing music, teaching music at the TAFE, but, was inconsistent and blah, blah, blah. And he's just, if you've met Johnny, like, he's just like this amazing, bright, shining light of joy. Hospitality is just in his blood. Like, he's amazing. You want to be around him. And there was the Pocket, the original one. It was a little food shop. And I remember the lease sign going up, and we were all here, like, having a family get together. And we just were like, this is it. You got to do this. I'll design it. You run it. It'll be amazing. So that was that. Like, that was the decision. We're just like, we're desperate for this. We need, like, good coffee and just something where we feel like we belong. So it was very selfish reasons. I set it up with him, like, to help. But then I was living upstairs actually at the time. So I'd come down and help out when it was busy. And then I just never want to leave. So that was that. I was still doing graphics, contracting, but it got to the point where I couldn't do both, and it was such an easy choice to make, because I think that just being able to be a part of people's days on the daily, and knowing that you get the opportunity to make a difference in a small way, not like make a difference, I'm going to change your life kind of deal, but I love contributing to the day-to-days of people. What a gift, and being able to share in their stories, and I guess to be a part of such a special community, it's so fulfilling. It's really fulfilling.
Yeah. There's something about, like, baristas and coffee shop owners and things like that. I think it's kind of like, once you find, one, obviously the coffee's a big part of it, but coffee's got to be okay. But once you find somewhere that, you like the coffee, you like the vibe, it's kind of like you want to kind of get to know the people, and, like, especially if you're going in there all the time, like if you're someone, you're like a daily type sort of person, or a couple of times a day person, like even probably the shyest of people probably open up and start talking about some things, so...
Sorry, that was me thinking, high five the coffee shop owner, the barista. I was going to do a handshake symbol, kind of do a little bit of charades over here on the side. But, COVID. Anyway, on with the show.
It's great. And I love that sort of element of, like, shining, I guess, doing your little piece to kind of make somebody's day. And that's what I often sort of say, or try and spruik, not to say that I'm perfect, that's for sure. I've certainly probably ruined a few days in my time. But, like, just saying hello to people, or smiling, or, doing something just kind of extra just to make things interesting, you know, like it costs, it's literally free, you know, so like why not be nice to people?
It's
it's awesome.
I remember we did some like leadership training through COVID. We had a bit of downtime, and we did some leadership training with my sister. She's really amazing, like has been a real help with I guess that kind of the business side of the business. But she's down in Melbourne, and she was kind enough to put together like this leadership workshop for us and some of our managers. And we did that. But one of the things that really sat with me is she was talking about basically like you choose to be a thermometer or a thermostat, like when you walk into the room. So basically like, and it's the same, it doesn't matter if you're a manager or a leader or whatever, but I think for every one of us, like when you step into the room with somebody, like you get to decide how you want to make people feel based on, you know, what temperature, I guess, you're going to put out there. And I love that, because you're basically inviting people into your space. And for us, our space is our home. Literally, like we live upstairs. So the cafe's backyard is also my backyard. So but I just thought that's cool. Like with whatever you do, the people that you invite into your surroundings, or if you're walking into theirs, like you get to make that choice how you're gonna let them feel or encourage them to feel, you know.
Yeah, I just sometimes even think it's just even to be like a small part of somebody's life, you know. I used to think this probably more so like before social media, back when we used to take photos on film and what have you. But I used to think it would be interesting to like know how many different people's photos you happen to be in the background of, like not from a deliberate photo bombing perspective. You know what I mean? Like there they are, some Japanese family, and they've got a picture on the wall of them all happily smiling. You know, you're in the background eating your like hot dog or something. It's random. But like now, like we've come into this zone where, you know, you can jump on your phone and live stream content out to the world. So, and hello to everybody who's jumped in. Greg, Lou Trev 14, Gracie Bar, Ben Collins, thank you guys so much. I've seen a number of people coming in and out. I've been trying to do this little wave thing. As I say, I'm still learning myself as we go. Fat Tony, how are you going? So, you know, and you can talk to the people who are just right there. So that's cool. Yeah. Okay, so you're there in the pocket, and then so what happened that then made the decision to go to the bigger premises?
Well, we actually had the decision made for us. It was a really interesting situation where it was kind of like the end of the lease and terms change, and there was some issues with like that space. You know how I said it was really meant to be a hole-in-the-wall cafe, which was perfect for that building, but like it's an old as hell building. It wasn't made for like live music and late nights and jam-packed full of people. That's not what it was made for. So basically, unless we were going to be able to spend a significant amount on investing into like soundproofing that building, and then we couldn't stay there. It wasn't fair to like there were residents upstairs and our neighbours, and at the time it was really hard because I mean that space was so special to me and I just loved it as it was. But I basically for Scott and I, we were thinking, far out, is this it? Like, is this over for us? Do we just have to move on? And that was really difficult. But I'm not sure if you remember, the newsagent used to be next door, like
That's
right
it,
next door. And it was a big space. And for 2 years it was vacant. We'd gone into it like for a pop-up shop over Christmas one year, and it didn't really like work out financially for us. But the space kind of was still vacant, and the owner, I think he was going to lease it, but he really wanted to make sure that the right thing went in for the community, which I guess he didn't feel like the opportunities that were coming to him were right. So it meant that it was vacant. And honestly, it just felt like all the powers in the universe combined and just kind of gave us that determination to go into the space and make it work and invest properly, like, because basically, like, this place is our future now, you know. But it was big too, like going from a little place to a big space and making it the same. We just had to trust that it wasn't about what it was more about who we were that was going to make it work. And I think sticking to our guns in that respect and just like we had the support of the community with us was awesome. So, and we did it, which was, it's been incredible. Hard work.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Incredible.
I'm stoked. Yeah. I'm stoked that I was actually here in time to experience the first place. And I actually came about that. I don't know if you remember, but there was a guy called Luke Musafora. He was a pastor at City Edge, young guy, like, so probably, well, actually,
yes. I do know Luke.
Yeah, my age.
Always had really nice hair.
Yeah. He had like pretty good hair. So I met him, and then he was like, "Oh, come in here," and then he was really chatty with the people in there. And I was like, "Oh, I want to be like, chatting with the people in there." But like, I think you guys have done a cracking job with like retaining some elements of that, you know, like in your current place, because you've got like, I suppose, I'm assuming deliberately created kind of little nooks, you know, so that people can kind of get into like, a little space there, open air at the front. There's that area that's like right in front of where the coffee service is. So to paint a picture because there's some people who will see this later on, and some of them will probably be here now, but like some of the people following me so far in the US and in Canada and places like that, they've seen a few videos that I've made to get a bit of a feel for Moffat Beach. But like the Pocket basically looks out and you've got the park there with a really cool wooden playground, a couple of kind of ship type sort of playground things, a big oak tree, and then you can see straight out like to the headland and the surf, and there's a little kind of like square window seat that sits maybe 3 people or so, if you're lucky you can get that, and you just kind of sit there like you're sitting in a bar, but like looking straight out to just beauty, to the magic of Moffat Beach. So it's good. So, and then talk about Guru Life and Out. So did you have Guru Life before the Pocket, or was it something like?
No. So that's kind of that. If you talk about, I guess, the maturing of like us as a business, so we started the Pocket, and during that process, my brother actually said, I want to roast coffee. Like, I love it. It's a passion. I'm going to do it. I'm going to find the perfect place, which he did, because, I mean, that's what he does. You just got to trust him and go with it. But he found this magical space out of Rosemount and set up the roastery out there. And I helped him basically set up shop. But he's got way more stamina than me. Like, he's basically an Energizer bunny. And I felt like being out there and giving that place everything that I wanted to took too much away from me being at the Pocket. So, and he was, if you ever go out there, it's pretty funny because there are lots of similarities as far as, I don't know, you'd have to see. There are lots of similarities. However, it's so much. When I look at it, it's like Guru Life is the representation of him and the Pocket is the representation of me. So anyway, awesome. I got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. And we bought his share of the Pocket out, and he does Guru and I do the Pocket. So they are separate now. Yeah. But we still, he roasts our coffee and we love it and we'll always support each other. I just love and admire him so much. So
awesome. Where's he in the spectrum of the 6 out of interest?
So he is my eldest brother. So he's 2 up from me. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. So the very oldest is
because people used to ask firstly if we were married, and then they'd be like, "Oh, who's the oldest between you?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? This guy's 7 years older than me. All right, give Give me a break.
Yes, okay. And then ours, I know, of course, came not that long ago, and probably not a heck of a lot long, like before COVID hit. Really, not great timing, I imagine.
It was not amazing timing. So ours opened up around the corner. My youngest brother actually had that space for quite a few years. He ran Coco Loco there with his wife.
I love Coco Loco.
Yeah, it was an amazing shop, but they basically had decided like that wasn't what they wanted to pursue anymore, and other opportunities kind of came up for them. And for myself, I was like, well, who knows why, but I knew that a shop, so ours, just for anyone that doesn't know, is a mostly vegan, vegetarian cafe, smoothies, juice bar, that type of thing. And I just felt like there's so much that we can't do at the Pocket. I'd love the opportunity to do that kind of like health food, local produce, local goods and wares, and for Moffat Beach, for our community. And that's why we decided to do that. So yes, unfortunately we started in December and then the world decided to end. But we've been lucky to keep pushing. Like really, that place, it's so special. It's still such a baby. Like we've got a lot of work to do and growth that I know is coming. But to be able to even survive a pandemic, like it's I feel very proud. Anyway, I do feel proud that we're going to come out the other side. Yeah. But that's it. I mean, there's no more. I refuse. I will not do anything else. I might end up divorced.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's enough. That's a lot. That's 3 times probably the amount that a lot of people could do or would be happy to do. But I guess, I know that you really put a lot of focus on the staff. So, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? If you get a great team of people, then it makes things work. And, I mean, out of interest with regards to COVID, like how did that sort of how did you guys kind of go? Did you do just like really try and ramp up the takeaway thing? Have you done any online sort of selling of produce? Like what's been happening?
We did it all. We did everything and anything we could. I know a good friend of my husband's had so at the beginning it was like far out. How serious is this? Or what are we going to, what is real and what is the media? Trying to figure out, all of those things. But a good friend of my husband said, if everything gets shut down, you've got to turn yourself into a general store and then you can stay open because you'll be an essential store. And I kid you not, like within a day, we had like a new shop front, racks of food and cleaning products and like a small grocer. And we set that up. But to be honest, like with the Pocket, the coffee like has just kept us alive. It was really
and
so thank goodness for caffeine addiction because it paid off.
That's it. Well,
the impact of COVID is, I mean, yes, we are so blessed. We're able to open. We're able to keep going. And I can't imagine how hard it would be for a lot of places that have had to close their doors and just walk away, because even for us, like we're starting again and we've been running for 8 years. It's taken us, not taken us 8 years, but I mean, we've been going hard for 8 years and you think you got to wipe a lot of that good work that you've done clean and start again. And we still don't know, like, when it's going to end or whatever. But I think we made the choice. All right, we are going to stay open for as long as we can, and we'll do whatever it takes. And I think once we made that decision, then it's really just a roll-on effect. So for the other shop, for ours, we're really lucky because we do so much fresh produce. Like that's basically the bulk of what we do is we make everything on site, all of our food. So that was, I mean, instead of people having to go to the grocery store, which I know was pretty full on for lots of people. They just came to us, and that was awesome. I loved that we could send them off with beautiful fresh produce, and I could tell them where it was from and if it was spray free or whatever. So that was good. So that's what we did, and that's what we agreed to do.
Yeah, that's great. So good, so good. And did you find did people in the community, I guess, deliberately kind of come and get their takeaway coffee from you, like to, I guess, kind of support you guys and make sure that you guys are still going to go make it?
Absolutely. Like, I don't think I've ever felt so loved from the community. You know, people, I know, like, there were people that were wondering if they were going to have a job tomorrow, and they still made the choice to, like, come in and hand $5 over the counter, you know. That it was so touching to see. There was like a determination about it. They were like, we are going to support you, and we're going to make sure you get through this. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Like, aside from the sickness and the deaths and people whose businesses haven't survived or jobs haven't survived, aside from all of that stuff, I think there's been some really great and amazing things that have kind of come out of the whole situation, and it's not over yet, but I'm definitely someone who, I guess, have maybe regained a little bit of hope in humanity, you know. Like, I mean, I'm a pretty optimistic person, so it probably sounds strange, but at the same time, like, I don't have a stack of faith in the world. But I suppose one thing, and because we're probably similar ages, like, I think when we were younger, like pre-internet and stuff like that, particularly like the 90s, I don't know, there was just a general vibe that, like, pretty much anybody in a company or a corporation was just out there to kind of, swindle everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was that kind of a big business type sort of picture, you know, like these companies that were just, who didn't give a shit. And I mean, there's still those companies out there, but and then you need to be really careful and wary of people and don't give out too much information and all that sort of stuff. And now, like, it's impossible essentially to keep your privacy and all your information. So, it's just such a different world, which has got some ups and downs. But I think one of the ups is that, more people, I think, are kind of realising that there are lots of good people out there, and you can find ways to connect together. You know, you can create meetup groups, and you can do all sorts of different things. You can do stuff like this, and I'm really kind of excited to see how this goes. I really hope that everybody gets on board with it, and in time, hoping to make some posters, as I was talking about the other day, so we can stick those up. And if everybody, I guess, watches the shows, whether they catch it live, they catch it on repeat, and then they share it across their different social channels, then all of a sudden you're getting much more exposure. So I just hope that helps out with different businesses around town. So now, look, there's a few people. I'm just interested to see who is here. You probably know more of these people than I do. Heidi, Beck.
Heidi just had a baby. Congratulations on your beautiful boy. We love him already.
Congrats, Heidi. And Kayla, Sophie, back, Squid Jam, and I like that as a name. Mr. Coda Herkara. There we go. Big project. Yeah. Now, look, guys, if anybody has some questions that they would like to ask Esther, then pop them down there in the comments. Don't be shy, and you can talk to each other as well. I came by this whole Instagram live thing courtesy of a guy. His real name's Jason, but he goes by Coach Jade in Canada, and I found him via Gary V. I don't know if you know Gary V on YouTube and what have you. He's just a really good operator in the social media space. Swears like a trooper. He's a Jersey guy, but he's had a lot of success in the online arena, and he just kind of spits out bits of knowledge and tries to help people out. And he started this show during COVID called Tea with Gary V. And basically every morning at 9, like, he would just be sipping tea in his yard and he'd be just chatting to different people, and they'd come on and he'd give them his like thoughts and advice and what have you. And Coach Jay came on. He was just you could tell he was a genuine, sincere person. And that's like, for me, I'm all about down to earth, genuine people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just can't handle like pretentiousness or anything like that. And then Gary, like, I guess, picked that up about Coach and said, oh, look, you know, everybody follow Coach Jay. And so all of a sudden he got a whole bucket of followers. And now he's been going live on Instagram. So he's a personal trainer, but he also does this kind of gym talk with Coach Jay, which is really more just people doing this kind of thing. And he does it every day. The time zones are completely out of whack with us, but he's just built this really great little community where, you know, I've gotten to know a handful of people scattered around the world who are kind of all really supportive of each other and have chats. And, you know, I've been on live on his show, and I'm really hoping to see the same thing sort of take flight here. So that's why I'm trying to encourage people not to be afraid to sort of pose a question or make a comment or what have you. Yes.
It is actually, even for me, Brad, it's really nice. Like, if you were to do this with other people, because I know, like, I feel as though there are just never enough hours in the day. Never. And it'd be so cool. Like, I never get a chance to network with other small business owners. Like, I really only know who I know. And often people will say things like, oh, you must know everybody. And they're like, I don't really. Like, I love making effort to know the people that come through the door and like our own locals, but I miss out on hearing everybody else's stories. And it's really nice. So I'll look forward to, like, you know, checking out when you're talking to other people. Yeah,
more Mondays at Moffs. And that's the thing. I want everybody to feel like anybody who is running a business, whether it's physically located here in Moffat Beach or, you know, they might be running a business and they just happen to live in Moffat Beach, that to me is the criteria. And it doesn't matter, like, whether it's a one-person hairdresser or you've got a massive corporation. I want everybody to, you know, whether it's a machinery shop or you're an engineer or whatever, I want everybody to kind of feel welcome and to feel, you know, not to be too shy to kind of share their story. But I also respect some people, you know, maybe don't want to go online, and different people have different philosophies around, you know, putting themselves on the internet. But I hope lots of people do sort of get involved. And now there's no, like, price barrier. So, and I just thought, look, doing Instagram Live, it's easier for me because there's no editing. Like, I just put it out as it is, you know what I mean? Whereas the stuff I've been doing in the past with my video production business has been more, you know, I'd spend a whole bunch of time editing, and that could be really time consuming, particularly when there's no necessary financial return straight off the back of it. So one thing I will talk about just while I'm here, this is kind of like a commercial break, I guess, but I switched gears maybe a month or two into COVID and decided to start a social enterprise, which is called Flicks for Good. So it's FLICKS, the number 4 good, which is flicksforgood.com.au if you want to go to the website after. And essentially what it is a video streaming service. So I spent maybe 2.5 to 3 months talking to different people, just jump on LinkedIn, look up people who are in the social enterprise space or looking at people who are doing good things, and basically just reaching out and having Zoom chats and, you know, trying to figure it out. And over time, I gradually ended up refining it. I went from just thinking I might do something small to now wanting to really come out with a bang and have a red hot crack at taking on the big guys in that video streaming space. So, you know, think of, you had Netflix, but instead of all of the profit just going to make a few people into billionaires, you know, you have half the profit going into all sorts of different causes that are, I guess, on the front line making the biggest impact. And to me, like, the stuff that's been on my heart has been like suicide, domestic violence, crime, like all these different things that, you know, I sat down one day, my video production business was kind of up the shit, and I was sitting there thinking, wow, you know, like, there's probably going to be all these people, like in Western countries, like, which is mind-blowing, who, even if they're on good money, because 70% of people spend what they earn, right? that within maybe a month or so, they could be broke with no money, no job, possibly no food in the house, you know what I mean? Which wouldn't have felt like you just couldn't conceive that before, like what could possibly happen in the world that could force us into that situation. And I was like, shit, like, you know, I'm, I guess, lucky because I'm an optimistic person. So, like, you know, I wouldn't sort of go down the path of suicide. But I realised that, you know, if you were someone who struggled with depression or things like that, it's all of a sudden going to put you into this real pressure cooker situation. And that was kind of like the beginning phase of like me thinking, what could I possibly do to like help or make a difference? And it's just kind of like I've kind of looked at the entertainment industry and how much money people spend on streaming, and that's actually skyrocketed through COVID. And I was looking at like the charity space. Yeah, and like I was looking at the charity space and how much money they spend to try and raise money and like the ways that they do it. You know, a lot of it's great, but I mean, think about like people trying to stop you in the street when you're trying to go buy groceries and stuff like that. Just like, you know, or you're on the way between meetings and stuff like that. I feel bad because I always slam those guys, but I feel for them. But it's just got to be one of the least effective ways you could possibly get money. But it obviously still pays a return, right? So they do it. But I thought, like, wouldn't it be great?
How they do it.
Yeah. yeah. You got to be really comfortable with the rejection for that. But I thought, like, wouldn't it be good if there was a way that you could harness like the power of entertainment and the money that is being spent there and divert some of that, you know, into a good cause. So that's kind of, yeah, that's the spiel on Flicks for Good. And you can also donate to different causes, you know, as you see something. So you might watch like Gorillas in the Mist, for example, and then straight afterwards there'd be like a really good quality piece about some sort of cause that does stuff to do with animal poaching or whatever, and you could just flip dollars straight away, just press a button, move on with your life, keep watching what you want to watch, or just not watch that. So that's my spiel on Flicks.
That feels big though. That's going to be big.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm trying to gear up for a huge crowdfunding push. Like I want to do, and most people I think just go, no, this guy's lost it. But like I want to do the biggest crowdfund in the entire world, and I want to try. I've created a campaign called 0 to 1 billion, and I want to go for getting 1 billion people to donate $1 and actually just take some time to share the story with other people, like even pick up a phone or send an email, or, you know, like actually, like not just put it in your feed, like just actually share it. And then I'm just want the world also to just take a moment to just check it out, you know, or people just all this habit that people are scrolling by stuff too fast and like, you know, the attention span just going down and down and down. I think that's got to stop. Like I think that the connection between, you know, anxiety and things like that could potentially be tied in. You know, if there's anybody here who's a psychologist may well know, but I think that as we've gone to that thing where it's like you got 3 seconds to get someone's attention, otherwise they're potentially just going to punch you. Like that's shit to me. I'm like, surely people can people not give someone like a couple of minutes to see, particularly if it might mean you could actually save a shitload of people's lives or provide food for a whole bunch of people? I don't know. Yeah. That's my thought anyway, and I'm just hoping and banking on the good people out in the world getting excited about it. So anyway, that's enough about me. Back to you. Everybody's been shy. No questions coming through. Oh, right. So
lunchtime, you know, people are snacking.
Yeah, they're probably eating. That's true. It's true. So you guys are doing drinks down there as well at the moment?
Yes,
you open at night?
So if all of our trade is fairly like back to normal as far as what we were doing, it's just capacity. So with the new rules, like we can have 50 people, but other than that, like our trading times are normal, the menu is normal, the bar is open, so that's cool that we're at least, you know, we can try and pretend to be our usual selves. It's just like less bums on seats, which is hard because in lots of ways that's what we love. We love it when we're all jammed in there together and you're, you know, running into this friend and that, and that's I feel part of what makes us us. So having to adjust to not being able to do that is tricky because you just want things to be what they were. But even there are new rules where you have to like be seated So everyone in the restaurant has to be seated. And I'm like, boring. So boring.
No dancing.
But no dance floor. No dance floor. I mean, anyway, it is what it is, and we just have to kind of accept it for the time being.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you guys doing music?
Yeah, we got music for sure. So it's usually like 2 nights out of the weekend. So it might be Friday and Sunday or Saturday and Sunday. And that's awesome because I love having music. Like music's a big part of my life, and I think it creates such a special atmosphere. So it's good to have our beautiful music back.
Yes. And like who would you put in, say, the top 5 artists or bands? You know, like what's your jam? Like what's your kind of your personal if we were looking at your record collection, record collection, not even a CD collection nowadays.
I do have a record collection, I do, but it would be a shock to go through it because there's going to be all sorts from classical to soul to punk rock to there's probably no pop. Okay, to be fair, there's no pop or country.
I'm much the same, yeah.
No, but I just like things that make you feel good, and I know, like, I'm actually very fussy. I'm like the music Nazi. Whenever I walk into the cafe, all of the staff will vouch. It's like, turn that off. That is terrible, and have to put something else in because it is. It's there's not everything that I love is actually suitable for the shop because you want to be able to. You're creating a space, hey. So it's got to go with the vibe. Yeah.
Sorry, interrupting. Jimi Hendrix, just Jimi Hendrix back there. Now this is, I will be honest, it's from Kmart, but at least I'm old enough to actually know, 1, who it is, 2, the significance of that particular show, and 3, he's someone who I love. So I thought it was a worthwhile interruption. Like almost... Don't worry. I thought I'd screwed everything, but we're back. We're back.
Yeah. We were talking about this with some friends the other day. Like, if you had to listen to one genre of music all the time, what would it be? And I think it would probably be, for me, like soul music. Maybe. I think so. It's hard. I change it up.
It's hard. Depends what time of day it is. Depends how many drinks you've had.
Exactly. All of those things. But no, it's good to have the music back. It is so good.
Yeah,
and I can't wait to be able to do it before.
Yeah, I love music as well, actually. And I want to, so I'm sort of, I haven't kind of thought out, but I haven't completely executed on it yet. But I'm trying to have like a thing each day, right? Like, and I'm experimenting. I'm trying to. The reason I've chosen this time slot, 11:30 till 12:30. Is I wanted to make it accessible for people in Australia. So I thought that maybe, people could either be finished, maybe if they like it, they could decide to take their lunch early or they could either watch it later or whatever. But, I wanted to try and get some of the people in Australia to be able to watch. And I've got some other people like Varna and Tina, I know, is in here, and they're in Canada. And I wanted so it's 9:30 Sunday night over there. So I wanted to make it so that they could actually... they could tune in as well. It's a bit weird when you start trying to think about people being, all over the world. There's some other people in that Coach Day group who are in the UK and India and places like that. And it's kind of a bit of a trip even as well because it's, like when we're sort of in our daytime sort of period, like they're kind of in their nighttime period and probably sipping on wine. And I mean, Tina's whole profile is about like wine pretty much. It's kind of, but also... I like your yeah, no, they're great. Yeah, we've had some funny moments on there. Like I've just decided I popped on the show like in my parrot suit at one stage, and we had another one where I went live and I just for fun, so I thought it'd be funny. Was in the shower, just top part, of course, but and Coach Jay was just not expecting, to see me. He doesn't have other people come on there in the shower, so. Yes. No. So, Varna's there, and I don't know. What do you think time slot wise? Like, what do you think is going to be better? Like, or is it better to do something at night? But that's kind of an inconvenience with kids, I feel.
Yeah, well, I think that's the tricky thing, hey, because I guess when we were talking about it, like through the week, Monday's really my only day where I can try and have any time for anyone really, because I guess Tuesday to Friday I just am buckled into the work, getting the work done. And then as soon as the school bell rings, then it's time to pick up kids and it's all about them from then on. However, like once they're in bed after 7:30, it is nice to be able to do something for yourself. And I know, like for me, if I was like watching, that's probably the only time that I get to actually look at something on my phone would be after then, because the snippets that you grab through the day, whether it's a diversion from checking emails or whatever, sitting on the loo, like they're those like 3 minutes that you might get, or 3 seconds before you scroll on to something else. So I guess if you want engagement, it's going to be different for everyone. I don't know. I'm only talking for myself, but I reckon nighttime is good.
Yeah,
it is good.
Yeah. We'll have to experiment with that. I'm interviewing. I was looking to some times the other day. Sort of flip it on its head, I suppose. You could maybe do something, I think, around, because they're about 2 hours, sort of 2 hours behind, but 12 hours flipped over, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of like, so it'd be 10:30 at night there at the moment. So, like, say if something was on at 8:30 night time, our time, that would be 6:30 their time. But I suppose I just was wondering whether the business owners around the place, but then again, maybe it's more convenient for them too, like, because they're, depending what hours they do, but they might find it easier rather than chewing up a chunk of their daytime slot.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll be different for different folks, hey?
Yeah. Have you got somebody you would like to nominate or job in, throw in the deep end for my Mondays at Moffs upcoming slots? Because that's my next thing, is trying to book out, the people.
Oh, you're going to have to leave it with me. I'll think of someone. I will.
Yeah.
But I'll see if I can. I'll make a list. I'll send it over.
Yeah, and even actually, this goes for people watching, whether it's now or later. You can pop in the comments, or if you want to do a private DM, you can private DM. That's fine. For Tuesday, so little Tuesday promo in the last couple of minutes, we've got. I've got Tangent Tuesday. So Tangent Tuesday, basically, we talk about whatever we want, and because I'm a bit of a tangent fiend, really, and it just also, I didn't plan it this way, but it's kind of like a nice catch me all for if there's somebody that is really unique or interesting, or they've got some kind of amazing story of, don't know, like whatever they've done. Like they might be somebody who is into dancing and they've got some cool thing there. Like we had a guy for the first one last week. We had Flacco McFly from New York City, and he's this cool breakdancing, popping, locking sort of dude that I found online during the Kevin Hart.
You're making me feel very boring now. You're making me feel very
No way,
I
not
don't
at
do
all.
any of those things.
You're nothing but boring. Yeah, I think I personally think everybody's got an interesting story, and it's we're all unique, and if everybody just actually is themselves, the world's a better place, Yeah. All right. Look, hey, thank you so much for coming. I know I'm going to let you crack on, and apologies I didn't sort of make it clearer at the beginning. But look, your technology's actually picked up as we've gone along. It's gotten better. Like your picture, has picked up as we're going. G'day, Cam Macca, Emma Williams, Noonan Graham, all these great people. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. Congratulations on all the work you've done, and, to the team there, the great people. And again, anybody coming to Moffat Beach, I know that there's all these people overseas who are just absolutely in love with the Sunshine Coast, because I've been sharing videos and photos, and I'm trying not to do too much of a bragging thing, but then at the same time, it's bloody amazing. So I'm like, okay, well, I've just put it out there. It's probably more interesting than I am. So, you know, like I just put out some photos and videos. You know, I've been trying to get on the old TikTok, and that was a bit daunting for me at my age. But yeah, I've gotten on there. So that's a real mixed bag. If anybody strays over to Brad for Good on TikTok, that's where I kind of allow myself to get even more out there, you know. I think there are a few people who want to see more of the parrot suit. Not my wife. She's not on that list. She's like absolutely appalled. She's like, what the hell are you doing dancing like with some teenager in a parrot suit? So, yeah, because that's apparently what you got to do, like to get some traction is you got to do the duets. Got to do the duets. And I thought, well, I've got a parrot suit, so make it more interesting. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for coming. And to everybody who's here in the chat and who's tuning in later, thank you so much. All the local Moffat people, please share, like, subscribe, and have a good day wherever you are, whatever time of the day it is.
You too, Brad.
All right. I'll catch you in the real world soon. Yeah. Okay, bye. Bye. How good, everybody. Yeah, the Pocket. You got to get down there. If you're here, if you come to visit Moffat Beach, whether it's now, whether it's years down the line, it's just right near the car park for the beach itself, so you can't miss it. There's a little strip of shops, at least as we speak, and the Moffat Beach Brewing Company is also another great place to stop in there. Sunny's at Moffs. There's a few little places, an art gallery. It's a perfect place to come up to from Brisbane. So if anybody's in Vegas, come on up to the Sunshine Coast, stick Moffat Beach into the Google machine and it will take you there, and then drop in at the Pocket and grab a coffee or some tasty, nutritious treat, or if you're more into the cocktails and that sort of thing, then you can have one of those midday, midnight. And let's all like get behind each other, support each other. Please, if you own a business, reach out. I'd love to book out the slots of the upcoming Mondays at Moffs and be able to advertise those. Thanks so much, Tina. That's very nice of you to say that. Have a great day. All right. Bye, everybody.
Well, and there you go. And that was that. I think we made it. Kind of strange watching yourself, but sort of fun in its own little way. I was trying to just discreetly type out some things. I was a little bit torn between whether I should tap loudly, just be like really blatant on typing, old Kramer style. Remember on Murphy Brown or something? Oh, yeah, show my age. Some of you be like, no idea. Other people are like, yes. And they're my people, the Kramer fans. Oh, look, even you guys who don't know Kramer is whatever. You're still good. The moral of the story is the more people we have sharing each other's stories, and it's really, for me, it's just a case of like kind of my bit of trying to give back to the community, my bit of getting to know people in the community, and I also just find it fun. I find people interesting. So, share it with your friends, and tune into some of the other shows if you like, which are now, as you probably know, if you've even made it here, you're either watching via Facebook Live or via YouTube Live, not the other program. And it just gives me a few more options. Like this situation here, for example, obviously can get a bit more professional in terms of the quality of the footage and the audio, which is a work in progress. Particularly, I'm almost on the side of like going, maybe I'll start a series about streaming live and some of those technical things, because particularly if you're trying to stream live on the cheap or on a budget, probably sounds better. And connecting all sorts of little bits and pieces together, little wires and adapters and things like that, it does get a little bit complicated. All right. Thanks for coming, guys. Honestly, please share, as I do want more and more people to know what's happening in Moffat Beach. And it's not just, I mean, Esther's a great person. I think that show would be a good watch for anybody. All right. And if you haven't been on the show and you'd like to be on the show, or you know somebody who you think could be suitable to be on the show, please tune in, or rather send me a message. And tomorrow's Tangent Tuesday, I'm interviewing Reese Fox, who's just a man who obviously doesn't want to have any spare time left in his life. He is in 3 bands now. Barefoot is quite a well-known and successful band. You know, play Triple J and different festivals and things like that back when we used to have festivals. And I think they maybe have had some gigs since COVID. Kind of reggae, and then Mules, which is kind of more my school, grunge and that sort of thing, a bit heavier, and then some other band that I don't even know about yet. So I'm interested to find out that. And he also has the Point Music News blog, and now the Point Music News podcast, which is also on YouTube. Anyway, we'll find out more about that tomorrow. And I'm interviewing him tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which will be, I think, about 5 or 6 a.m. in the UK. Anyway, if you can join us, that'd be great. Love to see you there. And for the locals, this is really the whole point, is for you guys to have a chance to watch something live, because it is fun. If you haven't done it before, get involved with the chat. I can see both comments from Facebook and YouTube here, so I won't miss you. And I love to call people out, and it's all, you know, you can have a bit of fun talking amongst yourselves. I don't know, I've personally enjoyed it. The more people, the merrier, as is often the case with many things. Okay. Bye, guys.